He was one of the wealthiest men in Rome, an advisor to emperors, a master of language and logic. But behind the power and prestige, Seneca lived simply, with rituals designed to sharpen the mind and steady the soul. His life was anything but peaceful. He faced exile. He navigated political danger. And he was eventually ordered to die by his own hand. So how did Seneca remain calm, clear, and composed? It was how he lived. Every single day. Here are the daily rituals of Seneca, explained. 1. Morning clarity. Begin with the mind. Seneca didn't rush into the day. He began it with reflection. He would rise early, not to get ahead of others, but to get ahead of himself. No distractions. No noise. Just thought. He wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive." He would read philosophy. He would revisit his own writings. And he would mentally rehearse the challenges the day might bring. This was his way of preparing, not just for meetings, but for life. 2. Practicing voluntary discomfort. Though he was wealthy, Seneca regularly slept on the floor. Ate plain food. Wore simple clothing. Why? He called it voluntary poverty. He practiced to train the mind against fear. He said, "Set aside a certain number of days, during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, and ask yourself, is this the condition I feared?" By experiencing discomfort on his own terms, he learned that fear of hardship was worse than hardship itself. This made him more resilient and less reactive. 3. Afternoon learning. Writing. Seneca didn't waste time. In the afternoons, he wrote letters, not for publication, but for practice. Many of these letters survive today. They're filled with advice, insights, and challenges to think better and live deeper. He once wrote, "While we teach, we learn." His afternoons were not about productivity, they were about wisdom. 4. Evening self-examination. Before bed, Seneca didn't scroll. He didn't escape. He reviewed. He would sit in silence and ask himself, what did I do well today? What did I do poorly? What can I do better tomorrow? He described this as a kind of daily court for the soul. No judgment. Just honest accountability. And that's how he grew, not just in knowledge, but in virtue. 5. End the day with gratitude and detachment. Seneca reminded himself daily, let us prepare our minds as if we'd come to the very end of life. Not to live in fear, but to live fully. He trained himself to be grateful for everything, while clinging to nothing. That's the Stoic way. To enjoy life without becoming dependent on it. To hold everything lightly. These were the rituals that made Seneca not just a thinker, but a practitioner. A philosopher not of theory, but of action. So what can you take from him? You don't need to live like an ancient Roman. But you can live with greater intention. Start your day with clarity. Welcome discomfort as training. Reflect with honesty. Learn something new. Let go of what you can't control. And remember, the calmest people you meet are often the ones who've practiced how to be calm. Subscribe to Stoic Spark and bring timeless rituals into modern life, one mindful day at a time.